they released Visions of Mana, the big new like Secrets of Mana follow-up.
Yeah.
Studio was closed the day before the game came out because NetEase is pulling out all of their funding from Japan. So like,
That's
Oh my God.
petty,
Yeah.
bro.
Dude,
yeah.
Ouch.
I saw there was this might have happened to, I think Dan and Co, you guys both did sponsored streams for it, or I know Co did. There was a streamer that was doing a sponsored stream for it, and he was about an hour in, and his chat told him that the studio just closed while he was in mid-sponsored stream for the game.
I would be like, so do you guys want me to finish this RFP or?
Well, no,
can I-
he just kind of like, am I still gonna get paid? Like, what's happening? Yeah,
Well,
it was Pat Starzat, the YouTuber.
Oh, Pat! Oh, it's funny.
Man.
I just followed him on Twitter recently. But no, the interesting thing about this is that even though NetEase funded the development company, the publisher is Square Enix.
Yeah.
So like, it's this weird situation where like they pulled the funding from the studio and closed it down and are now like leaving Square Enix with this brand new game that is obviously never going to get support anymore. No more patches. I mean, they shut the studio down. No DLC, nothing. So it's just like, I can't imagine a world where Square Enix isn't furious over this. Unless they've somehow profited off it and are involved in it somehow, which, I mean, let's be real, they probably are. But from an outside perspective, this looks crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. And I also, like, I wonder what that means for the future of the game, because it's like,
I mean,
it's got to have patches, right? Like, they're maybe it's shipped. I don't know.
Who's going to make them?
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, they
No one left.
divested from the devs. And at this point, Square Enix may be the only people making money off it. So unless they decide, of course, we don't know how the deals work. But I mean, the fact that they pulled all the funding out of the studio is very telling.
Yeah, but I mean, I'd be curious to see how, because they're making the decision to cut all ties with this and leave it out to dry. Did they expect no recoup on it? Like, was the what urgency did they need to leave Japan with to like reconcile with the fact that they're not going to make money off of this anymore? And also, does this leave Square Enix in an interesting position where they could just hire the studio devs and have them, kind of work on a short contract period to support the game that they are already invested in releasing?
Yeah. Who could say?
So the big thing is that I'm sorry, it was the day after the game release, not the day before they shut it down, which is even crazier because they didn't even wait to see if it was going to make the money. Anyway, but the point is that this thing with Oka, and I'm saying that wrong, but this is their exit strategy that they've been employing for like over half a year. So this isn't them starting an exit strategy. This is like the tail end of them divesting.
Oh,
so it's I think, even though it may seem kind of crazy to us, and it does look crazy, it may make more sense in a larger scale context in terms of like, they're just being like, and it says like Pocket Gamer.biz wrote an article where they're saying right here, according to Bloomberg, who reported that both companies are now scaling back their Japanese studio investment, citing years of spending, which have produced few hit games. Meanwhile, the once stifled Chinese market has been slowly making a comeback with high profile overseas spends, making high profile overseas spends look like folly. So they're basically seeing all this other success in different avenues, and they're just like, this thing we've been doing that hasn't really been working, we're just going to cut our losses and get out. So that goes to your question, Jericho. Do they care about recouping the costs? They
clearly not
made that decision months ago.
Yeah. No, that sounds like the most transparent thing that you could possibly say, saying we're getting the bag from China and other markets, and therefore we literally don't have to care about this anymore. I mean, you would at least try and recoup something, or have somebody in place to kind of manage it at least throughout a year, or some way to kind of smooth over if they cared about earning money. But like, why would you as a gamer buy that game then? And why would, anybody work on it?
And the worst part, I'm not an anime guy. I'm not into cutesy anime games. But at the end of my 2-hour sponsorship, I said clearly, those are the two reasons that I would not play this game. Like, this game ran well. It was fun. You dropped in and out of combat quickly. It was fully voice acted. Every character has like 8 different classes, and they all have unique stuff, and you can move items between them to unlock different classes. Like, I got to the end of this game and I was like, I wish I was more into this cutesy anime stuff, because that is the reason I'm not going to want to play more of this. Everything else is good.
Yeah. And
it sucks that like something of this quality that I think anime fans would love are releasing in this state.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, man, like
so I'm not an anime fan or anything, but I was playing this game off stream last night, and I'm curious What controller did you use, by the way, Co? Were you using an Xbox?
Yeah.
Did it work fine for you?
I
Because like
think so.
in some menus, the A and B buttons wouldn't, like, I had to sit there and like press it like 5 or 10 times. And I was like, is my controller broken? And so I started Googling. Apparently this is an issue with the game where, like, for whatever reason, if you use a Elite Series 2, the A and B buttons just like don't work in certain menus. And then I was like, I'll just wait for a patch.
controllers. Okay.
And I'm not going to get a patch for that. So I'll probably have to hook up like a PlayStation controller because apparently it works.
Horror.
We call them plebeian controllers.
Yeah.
I played a little bit of this offline, just to test how it ran and stuff. And all the cutscenes are in 30 FPS.
Yeah.
But if you double press F11, it unlocks every cutscene. You just have to do it for every cutscene. You hit F11 twice and it unlocks it to whatever your frame rate is, like 144. But you gotta do it for every single cutscene.
There you go. Okay. F11.
And that'll never get patched because they're shut down.
That's fucking awesome. Thank you for telling me that.
You're welcome. Just gotta press it twice really quickly.
There are a lot of cutscenes, and the main gameplay actually looked fantastic and was unlocked. So like having the jar of going between 30 and fluid was very weird. So that's actually a great tip.
Yeah, this is literally right where I stopped playing. Last night.
This is that character was when I officially knew. And if you go back and look at my face, you will see the moment this game became. It's before that when I first saw the character. That was the moment I knew this game was too much for me. Like in this, I met this character and I was just like, this has to be one of the most like. His name is like Bromander, and he like throws fire. And, it's Salamando, and I was like, oh my god, like what is this I'm playing?
Yeah, it's Salamando.
But the thing that drew me back in is the fact that the main character has the same hairstyle as the Secret of Mana guy, like 20 years ago, and I love it. Like every time I see him, I'm just getting hit with a nostalgia.
Yeah, it's
slap to the face.
I'm very interested in the because I played the opening. I'm very interested in like where the story goes because it's not necessarily like, even though it looks very cutesy and happy, like the story is about literally just sacrificing yourself.
The story is about
for the
human
gods.
sacrifice, about acknowledging and accepting what that means.
Yeah,
about somebody who apparently got an entire nation murdered because of his selfishness at the beginning of the game, and then just I don't want to spoil it. Needless to say, I will say that when I said this game was too anime and cutesy for me, I made a specific point that I liked where the story was going. Like that part was actually really interesting. It looked like it was gonna ask a question where there is no right answer. And how they deal with that in the cutesy art, this cutesy world is very interesting because like you can't say either of the answers to that question is the right one. There's not a good guy and a bad guy.
Well, the answer, Co, is that you kill God at the end, probably.
Oh, of course. There we go. Okay.
That
just like most JRPGs.
You
Okay.
kill the God.
You kill God and make your own rules.
Yeah, you make your own. You kill a God and you make.
Well, the God, you replace him. Easy.
That's how it goes.
I like it.
Yeah.
Perfect. Glad we established that nice and early.
Yeah. Anyways, that's Visions of Mana. Out now, but the devs are also out. So I don't know how to check it out if you want.
The saddest of trombones right now, like the actual saddest trombone.
Yeah.